Hi to everyone from Las Vegas. I started National Open. It has been a long time. I don't remember. I think last time I played in this tournament was 2016 or something like that. And at that time I was close to get top prizes, but I lost my last game. Okay, I'm back, and hopefully this time everything will go the way I want. So the first game always tricky. I am usually afraid because you don't know who you are playing against, and sometimes underrated player, and you don't know what form you are in. So it is always tricky. But luckily, the games went well for me. I was playing against Ward Noah. It was our first encounter. His rating is, as you can see, that significantly lower than mine. He played d4, knight f6, knight c3. It is called Jobava London. It got popularized by Jobava. Then Hans Niemann made a chessable course in this variation, which made it more popular. And coincidentally, Hans Niemann is playing in this tournament, and he's the first seed. Maybe I will get chance to play against him. So it was an interesting one. And also, I think recently Bortnik and Naroditsky they made a course in this variation. Bortnik had been playing this variation against me online. I didn't really want to show my prep online when I play. It might be useful for over the board game, but I was getting basically every time worse positions or something like that. But today I played the most principal line. I played c5. uh, e3, it was used to be main line, but e4 got popular. And d takes c5 is a very bad move. You may think that, oh, the pawn is hanging, because here black can play d4. The problem is that white cannot play knight b5 due to queen a4 and double attack, and there is no way to defend the knight, and black is winning. So taking c5 is not an option, and e3 is a little bit passive but very playable. But nevertheless, people play e4 because e4 is the most direct way, and a lot of simplifications, and you can analyze the engine. That's why white often prefers e4. So I took d4, queen d4, knight c6, bishop b5, bishop d7. There have been many games in this position, so I'm not gonna comment much. So e5. After e5, black can go knight to e4 or d7. Knight d4 I did not really like. I thought knight d7 is better move. Some people were afraid of, obviously, this typical pawn sacrifice, e6, f takes e6, and sometimes king can be under attack. However, if black plays correctly, there is no mate attack. So queen b6 is a strong move. We are following the game, and I think my opponent didn't know what to do at this point, or he couldn't remember his analysis. I'm not sure. So he spent quite some time. I played queen d2, d4, queen d4, bishop takes f3, and now queen is hanging, so he had to take queen b6. And this move was very interesting. A takes b6. At first sight, I ruined my pawn structure. Nevertheless, I mean, he had to take f3, so let's look at this position. I got this a file, and after g6, I have a very simple idea. I want to develop bishop, attack the knight, and if he allows me, I'm gonna grab the pawn, and ruin pawn structures. Knight can be better than his bishop. So in this position, he spent 20 minutes, and I felt like my opponent might make a mistake. The best move here, either knight b5 or knight d4. I think some games followed knight b5 with the idea to fork us. However, there is a strong move, rook to a4 or rook a5, one of them. I think rook a5 is fine, but rook a4 attacking the bishop, and if bishop goes away, so I was thinking like maybe my opponent will fall into this trap, bishop g7, and long castle seems like a big mistake because of bishop b2, king b2, and rook b4 check. However, this is around equal after c3. I think black has enough activity to compensate the pawn structure, and sometimes it is not that bad having double pawns. Anyway, so my opponent spent here almost 22 minutes and made the very bad move, rook to g1. I did not quite understand what he wanted with this move. And first I thought maybe I should spend time to figure out what's the purpose of this move, and then I was like, anyway, I'm gonna develop my bishop. This was my plan, so let's follow. So he goes king d2, e2, and I brought the rook to the game, and here he should have played bishop d2, and I was thinking to play knight e5. If f4, then knight c4, rook b1, attack, and we can take d2, and f4 is hanging. Here if he plays bishop to c1, then we are grabbing this, and my knight is much better than his bishop. At this position, I guess rook g3 would have been the best move. Maybe this was his idea when he played rook g1 to defend f3. But still, I play knight c4, and if rook b1, we will get something similar to the game. But here, rook h3, he could have played. But okay, position is much better for black. Nevertheless, he played another bad move, bishop b3, and after rook c8 he took quite some time and played bishop d2. So basically you could see that white wasted tempo, which was very important. And in this position I had a choice. I could have played rook f5, I saw, but I went for knight d5, rook g3, knight c4, attacking b2, and rook b1. So I already saw very interesting idea to trap the rook. So I couldn't myself and played bishop b5. All the engine says that already my position is very good, so I don't need to go for that idea, but I couldn't stop myself and went for trapping the rook. Bishop e5. If he goes with rook somewhere, let's say g4, then I'm gonna grab d2 and f3. So this is winning. And only move, if f4, I have knight d2, king d2, bishop f4, double attack and winning the rook exchange. And if rook h3, I saw that I could play h5, and my threat is to take on d2 and put bishop on f4. However, here white could have played knight d4, which I was a little bit scared of, because knight d2, king d2, bishop f4. He had a king d3, king f7, c3, and I don't know, I thought this position should be objectively winning, but the engine doesn't give a big advantage. It says only -1. So maybe white has some chances to draw, but I think it's like practically impossible, because white is playing without rook, you know. Rook cannot get out, bishop is defending this, and if rook h4, I will just play e5, and there is nothing. And rook doesn't have moves. And here he played another bad move, rook g1. The difference is that now I take d2, king d2, bishop f4, king e2, and king f7. The difference is that now white cannot play knight d4, and this position is lost. He played rook h4, and I went for e5, and rook doesn't have any move anymore, rook d1. And here my goal was just to trade one pair of rook, so offer trade. He went rook d3, and I went king e6. I could have taken d3 immediately, but I thought there wasn't any rush, so I went for king e6, king d1, and now I took d3 and played rook h8. So the idea of rook h8 is to defend h5 and to play g5. So for instance, if my opponent went for knight d4, I was gonna play g5, rook h3, and h4. This would have been a beautiful rook trap, and rook didn't have a move. And basically, black is playing with an extra rook. Now I can focus all my thoughts on the queen side, and basically white cannot do anything. Here he decided to give up his rook, but there is nothing. I mean, no counter chance. So rook d8, d5, king e5, king e2. So I could have actually taken d5, rook d5, and this position obviously winning. But I was lazy enough. I thought white to calculate. Yeah, I could play king e5. There is no rush, so he went king e2. I improved my pawn structure, h3, and here I realized that he didn't really have any move, so I went for rook d7. And he pushed his pawn, started weakening his pawn structure. I waited, and after king e1, I was like, okay, now I'm gonna take d5. because now his pawn structure is ruined on the queen side as well, so it's easy win. So e6, I mean, it doesn't really matter much. I could have played e5 immediately. So here I went for e4, and my opponent resigned in this position, because if he goes, let's say, king e2, I have like many ways to win. So let me illustrate one of the wins. I think this is kind of educative. At the b5, b4, I mean, I can obviously play king c3 and win, but here I could play b5, ab, and b6, and now he has to move. Then I go e2, king e1, and king e3. There is no stalemate, because white has pawns, so white moves the pawn. Then, you know, I just need to be careful not to stalemate. So I move the king, and this is completely winning. So it was a nice smooth start. As I said, it doesn't happen every day, especially the first rounds of the tournament. So I'm glad that I got a victory, and I think it was a clean game. Okay, I mean, after rook g1, it was so easy to play. However, I really liked trapping the rook idea. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions and any comments, please write. If you watched until this point, you should consider subscribing to the channel as well. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.